The Justice Department will seek the death penalty for the white supremacist who killed 10 people, 10 black folks, and injured 3 others in a racially motivated shooting at a top supermarket in Buffalo, New York. That took place, of course, in May of 2022. Payton Gendron is already serving life without parole on state. After being convicted on the state side, he pled guilty in February 2023 to 15 charges, including domestic terrorism and motivated by hate, murder, and attempted murder. Now, federal prosecutors say they believe a death sentence is warranted in their filing because Gendron intentionally killed all of the African Americans involved. The DOJ also cited Gendron's intentional infliction of bodily injury, intentional participation in an act resulting in death. First of all, the federal grand jury returned a 27-count indictment against him in July 2022, charging him with 14 violations of the Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Hate Crimes Prevention Act. Jaquel, I'll start with you. From a legal standpoint, I'm quite sure if his lawyers are saying, man, let's somehow get this out of the way. Let's plead and not be in a situation where he faces the death penalty.
Sure. I mean, of course, you know, what they may do in federal court, what they did in state court, which was enter a guilty plea. But what was interesting and surprising to me is that during the course of his plea at the state level, he admitted on the record that he killed the victims in the store because of their race and because of them being black. And I found that to be interesting that they would even allow him to make that kind of admission to a hate crime specifically because they're black on the record. So now we're up here in federal court, right? They may they pled down there. It's a good chance they're going to plead in federal court, and then he'll move to the sentencing phase. And of course, essentially the sentencing phase in a capital murder case is a trial. The court will hear from witnesses. You'll have a trier of fact that will look at several factors to determine whether or not that's the appropriate punishment. And certainly, if he does plead guilty, that can be considered as a mitigating factor, right? Because he is accepting some form of guilt. However, the heinous nature of the crime, the loss of 10 lives, 3 additional victims that were injured. As a result, we have the lost lives of all of it's just a senseless, horrifying act that he committed. But essentially, it will ultimately be up to the juror of fact, and they'll look at several factors, and including him admitting on the record that he killed the 10 victims because they were black.
Michael.
You know, Roland, once again, this was a heinous act. I know we discussed it here on the show a number of times, but yes, I think he deserves the death penalty. Now, I'm not an advocate for the death penalty because it's used disproportionately against African Americans. 1, 2, we know sometimes you find out people were on death row and they're innocent and they're released from prison, or wrongly convicted, things of this nature. But I do make exceptions for the death penalty. But in this case here, I think it's important for people to understand that Payton Gendron pushed the far right conspiracy known as the Great Replacement Theory. Okay, which was also pushed by Tucker Carlson on Fox News and other conservatives, other white supremacist, things of this nature. And, you know, I think hopefully this will send a clear message that this is not going to be tolerated. And I think it's also important for people to research the Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Hate Crimes Prevention Act that we've talked about here on this show before. And James Byrd was the African-American man killed in Jasper, Texas, because I do hear African-Americans say, well, Asians got a hate crimes bill, right? They don't talk about the Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Hate Crimes Act.
No. They say Asians got a hate crimes bill. We ain't never had one.
I know.
That's a lie.
I'm saying they don't. I know it's a lie. That's what I'm saying. They don't talk about this bill here. 1, 2, the first.
No. Or if they do, they'll say, no. But that was the white gay guy, and his name on the bill too. Where's one that's just us? Well, there were 2. First of all, the one dealing with church burnings, that was us.
I'm dealing with the first one, 1968.
Right, I'm saying so.
Fair Housing Act.
But all these folks, it's all a bunch of BS.
I understand, but proper documentation ends all conversation. 1968, the first hate crimes act in the history of this country, signed into law by President Lyndon Baines Johnson, part of the Fair Housing Act, which was the result of the modern-day civil rights movement, largely done for African Americans. Okay, so people have to do this research and stop listening to black social media disinformation agents who are putting out nonsense.
Well, they real good at that. Folks, check this out. So, white nationalist Charlie Kirk, you know, the Turning Point USA, they love Donald Trump. They also had a whole bunch of racists work for them. These are the fools who initially had Candace Owens, you know, that clueless fool working for them as well. So check this out. This fool, Charlie Kirk, now says he's going to come out and every week discredit Dr. King because he believes that the Civil Rights Act should never have been passed, and that, as they say, it ushered in a permanent DEI-type bureaucracy. And so check this out. Kirk, he says in his quote, we're going to be hitting him every week. Yeah, on the day of the Iowa caucus, it's MLK Day. We're going to do the things you're not supposed to do. We're going to tell the truth about MLK Jr. You better tune in. Blake has already been preparing. It's going to be great. Oh, who's Blake? Well, this person here says, Blake is an apparent reference to Blake Neff, a producer of the Charlie Kirk Show. In 2020, Neff resigned from his job at Fox News as Tucker Carlson's top writer after CNN revealed he had been making racist posts under a pseudonym. No shock, Michael, that Charlie Kirk would have a racist working on his show.
No shock at all, because birds of a feather flock together. And when this idiot, Charlie Kirk, puts out his misinformation about Dr. King, African Americans or responsible African American media, like right here on Black Star Media Network and on the African History Network show, we need to tear his ass up and hit him with the facts and evidence, okay? Because these people going into 2024 now, they're going to continue to lie and spread misinformation, and we have to shut them down at every step of the way.
You know, and here's the deal, and John Quell, I mean, the reason I wrote this book, the reason I laid out in White Fear, and I call all that, I said all these things were going to happen. Their goal is to attack any and everything that has been beneficial to black folks and others. That is their aim.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it brings up just an interesting topic about when affirmative action, how that was just, it's over, right? That set us back 124 years. I mean, there have been so many attacks, and there just has not been any outrage behind it. There hasn't been, you just don't hear anything about it. It's just kind of like everybody just pick up and just said, all right, affirmative action is over. And it really has a lot to do, and we should be concerned as a community about the future of the young people behind us, right? I mean, we have got to fight back to all of these attacks because they're chipping away, and it's chipping away at the progress that we have been able to make through the years. And so as these things are happening, and as these attacks on our laws, on our privileges, on our rights that have affected our community, we can't stand by. I mean, we have to take action, whether it's you being present on shows, protesting, and all of that. I mean, when, for example, the George Floyd movement, when that occurred, just the power, the worldwide power, it took that level of a tragedy for our community, and not in addition to our community, an outcry across the world for people to come out and stand together to make a difference. And we have got to use some of those same tools, not the burning of buildings and trashing windows and all of that, but we have got to employ, we're coming up on the heels of Martin Luther King Day on Monday. We have got to, as a community, work together to fight back against all of these attacks on our community.
Well, bottom line is, let's be clear, a lot of that you had folks who were inserted insurgents who were in that. In fact, in Minneapolis, it was a white supremacist who was outed as starting fires there. So they love to try to blame Black Lives Matter for that, but that's what we also had happen in a lot of this. But you're absolutely right. It is a question of mobilizing, organizing to fight back. That's why we keep saying on the show, there is a very clear and well-funded attack against not just affirmative action, not just DEI, but any and everything that has been able to assist African Americans. And so we're seeing it happen right before us.
Hotep, everybody. This is Michael Imhotep from the African History Network. Our Kwanzaa online history course bundle pack is on right now. We have a fantastic promotion for you. Get our bundle pack of 2 online history courses that I teach, as well as my 15 lecture downloadable bundle, African History Awakens the African Mind from Mental Death. These are both from me, Michael Imhotep. My first online history class is Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Maafa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. Kemet is one of the original names for Egypt. We deal with thousands of years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. I do a PowerPoint presentation. We have book references, articles. There's about 100 articles that we cover in the class, over 200 slides that I put together as well. And there are also video clips, including excerpts of interviews I've done with some of our historians and scholars, as well as Runoko Rashidi, Professor James Small, Anthony Browder, Professor Kabahayawafa Kamene, and Dr. David Imhotep. In the second class that I teach, it's called Black Resistance Movements from the Haitian Revolution, the U.S. Civil War, Civil Rights Movement, and Black Power Movement, 1800 to 1968. And we dig in deep and look at history chronologically from 1800 to 1968 and look at what leads to the Civil War taking place. We study the Jim Crow era, the Reconstruction era, 1865 to 1877, World War I, World War II, Civil Rights Movement, Black Power Movement. This sale has been extended to Sunday, January 14th, 2024, and be sure to join us for our next class, Saturday, January 14th, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The content of these courses is PG-13, so you can use this with your children as well. It's not overly graphic. I don't do a lot of cursing or anything like that. It's very visual. We also have video clips, so it's very engaging. Be sure to listen to the African History Network show Sundays 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, for more information. And if you want me to do a presentation for your group or organization, whether it's for Dr. King Day, whether it's for African American History Month, Juneteenth, etc., visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You can contact me through the website or email me at ahnshow@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Remember, right now is correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. And we'll see you in class. Also, if you'd like to stop for information, you can support the African History Network, $the AHN Show through Cash App, $the AHN Show through Cash App, also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show. This helps us keep doing the research, stay on the air, keep broadcasting, pay some of the bills. All right, we have to get out of here. Remember, right now is correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever.